Kemon Spell's the top-ranked running back in the 2027 class. We've watched him a little bit on this tape. Currently committed to Penn State. Very excited to get into a bit of a deeper dive. When I watch these sophomore highlights, usually I warn people, just remember these kids are sophomores. They're a bit younger. You know, they're going to be a bit smaller. They're going to be a bit slower. You know, Kemon Spell, this just as easily could be a senior year highlight tape we're about to turn on. Just one of the best prospects very early in this 2027 class, but I got to tell you, this kid's got it all, really. McKeesport, Pennsylvania, like I said, committed to Penn State. What do I like about Kemon Spell? You're going to see them run this like kind of flex bone offense, very, very high school offense that you're going to see him out of. So every now and then we'll see him with a bit of space, but a lot of times he's in close quarters. Just has the frame that succeeds at the next level. Absolutely love 5'9" because it means you have a very natural low center of gravity. This kid runs with great contact balance. You just really see everything athletically plus physically. Like, you can kind of get really excited about this kid early in this tape, man. This move right here looks a bit more like a basketball crossover. And when we talk about this kind of stuff, usually we're talking about guys like Garrett Wilson, you know, at the NFL, a bit smaller that usually guys that move like that are a bit smaller. This kid's 5'9", 205 already as a sophomore. So his playing weight's probably a bit closer to 220, 225. This kid's going to be an absolute train when he gets to that level. You can see here. So first two plays, think about what we've seen. The first one, great contact balance, right? Just nobody could even get him when they have a hand on him. Second play, see the change of direction ability, how easy that is, how sudden he is. And then now we get more into the straight line stuff, how explosive he is and how good the long speed is. Man, nobody even touched him on this one, and he's just 1 foot in the ground and then in the end zone, 3 seconds later. So really don't know what else you want Kemon Spell to do in high school to really convince you that, this dude's going to be a good runner at the next level. Of course, there's going to be some development as a running back. This is actually an interesting point that I didn't even come into this video thinking to make. When you see him get the ball in that kind of fullback role, you're not really asking him to do a whole lot vision-wise. A lot of this is going to be power running, him just hitting a hole without really being a zone runner, not really knowing, where to cut back, So that's something to work on, just the amount of zone football that is played at the next level. See, here's another one. You're just asking him to hit the hole right away, not really looking for a cutback. So we're going to say there's some vision stuff with this kid that we got to be convinced of, but that's one of those things that gets picked up. What you're getting athletically and physically is too exciting to really get bogged down, I think, in the offense that he played in high school. Never worried about that. For even a quarterback running a simple offense in high school, we're not going to talk about that with a running back. Has everything that you look for physically and athletically in a running back. That's pretty much it. But yeah, that's the one, I think, concern is that they're just asking him to hit the hole right away in high school. There's a bit more patience usually at the next level and, waiting for the blocks to set, all that kind of stuff. So we're just not going to see any vision based on the offense he's running in high school. We're not going to really see the patience, but you can see in the open field just as an understanding of how to make guys miss. And then when he doesn't make guys miss, he just runs through them, so it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't trying to tackle this kid. I could have told you 1 minute into the video how good this kid is. We saw 3 plays and we pretty much we're pretty aware of how good he was. So we'll let it run just because it is a fun highlight tape. But you guys let me know what you think about Kemon Spell. Anybody else in this 27 class you want me to take a look at, feel free to reach out. Not going to do a whole lot of them. We're trying to watch some more developed prospects. And, this is kid Kemon Spell, like I said. Just as easily could be a senior year highlight tape, and we'd be very excited for this dude at Happy Valley or anywhere in the country. This is I could plant the flag pretty easy. I think this is going to be one of the premier talents that comes out of the 27 class. I almost love these highlights as much as some of the 40-yard touchdowns because these are the situations that running backs find themselves in. Like 90% of carries, you're going to get touched like this. This is 5 guys that have a chance at him, and he just keeps the legs churning, moving the pile. These yards add up in a game and, throughout a season. Big difference maker, these little things. Yeah, it's nice to have a running back that can hit the home run and score those 60, 70, 80-yard touchdowns that we've already seen Kemon Spell do, but more often at the next level, he's gonna find himself in situations where it's just, put your friggin' foot in the ground and then gain another 2 yards there. So yeah, this is pretty easy. I don't really know what else I could say about him, to be honest. You guys let me know what you think about him. Thanks for watching.